Boy! Boy! Yes! We'll go hunting.
What? No! Why would I do that?
Target practice.
No! Oh, fine. Fine. Hello everyone, and welcome to another review on my channel. Today I'm going to look at God of War for 2018. Yes indeed. It isn't called God of War 4 for some reason. Well, it's basically a soft reboot. It isn't a complete reboot, but a small change in the type of game style and style of the games essentially. This is the fourth main, or technically maybe fifth mainline game. Let's say fourth because I don't think Ascension is really one of the mainline ones. Anyway, previously God of War was set in the Greek mythology, or whatever you want to call it, and now it is based in the what is called Norse mythology, or whatever it is called. Here in Sweden we call it Asatron. Yes indeed. And it's basically the northern gods this time that he's going to beat up. So yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it is the same director that directed the second game, which many thought was a really good game. So I may remember incorrectly, but anyway, it sounds great. So let's just jump right into it. Sometime after the third game, you don't really know how long it has been essentially. You could guess, but I don't think you really will know. You will see essentially Kratos with his son Atreus. Yes, he has a son now. If you remember from the previous games, he had a daughter, which is in his mind or rage essentially killed. Anyway, he has a son. He have his son. Both of them are essentially burying the body of Kratos' wife, new wife, and or girlfriend. I can't remember if they were married. And Atreus' mother, essentially burning her into ashes. Then he put the ashes in a bag, and they are planning a voyage all the way to the highest peak, and essentially release the ashes there. Yeah. The journey, it essentially starts a little bit easy. It is essentially the beginning area where you will learn everything about how they essentially treat each other. Essentially, you will know that Kratos haven't been around for a while, and Atreus doesn't like him as much, or he would have liked him more if he would have been around a lot more essentially. So he's one of those dads essentially. So they go on hunting or target practice essentially, going around trying to see if Atreus are ready for the journey to the highest peak essentially. Kratos says he's not ready. Yeah. Then they meet the strangers, and there the game essentially officially starts. I was essentially saying the beginning of the thing where essentially a prologue in my opinion. Now after the singer arrives, the real game essentially begins, and that is the journey to the highest peak and how they get there essentially, which they will meet different colorful characters such as two dwarfs that essentially are the merchants that are going to help Kratos and Atreus in their journey by essentially upgrading your gear, etc, etc. They also have a role in the storyline a little bit, so they are important. You'll also find a witch in the woods. I don't know what to name her, what the twist about her, but she helps them throughout the game as well. And then you will get to know who the stranger is. Not a spoiler, I would say he is a god essentially. And that is how they realize that creators are in Middle-earth essentially, or Asgard, and then the real battle begins. I'm not spoiling or talking a lot about this because this is a game that have been released in April of 2018, so it haven't been around for so long, so I will not spoil that much about it. Overall, I think the storyline are amazingly built and amazingly told to you. It is, what I understand, a continuous camera movement, so everything are happening in real time in the game, which is amazing in my opinion, how they actually essentially tell that in the storyline. It is essentially everything happens at the moment. It isn't moving forward or backward, it is just happening at the moment, and that is a great storytelling in my opinion. Overall, I think it is an amazing storyline and I really like it. When it comes to the characters, the main one that you will play are Kratos, and with your sidekick, Atreus, his son. It will be a lot of spoilers if you really talk about a lot of the characters in the game, but overall, the witch are likable. She is really greatly portrayed and I really like the character. The villains, which is the strangers and his sidekicks, are really well portrayed. You feel the anger, you feel the anguish they have, you also feel the pains they have sometimes. Same with when it comes to Kratos and Atreus, they just feel realistic, and I really like how these characters essentially are portrayed and how they essentially move along in the storyline. Everything works perfectly when the storyline and the characters are put together essentially, so I really like them. The difference between the previous God of War games and this one is that the camera are essentially over your shoulder essentially. It is directly over your shoulder or whatever it's called. So the fighting are a little bit more intimidating because you go face to face with the enemies, fighting with them, and yeah, it is more down to earth and not as heavily relying on how money you can get into the chains that you used in the previous game essentially. Sorry for that. You will also have some of the moments that with this new weapon that is essentially the axe, you will essentially get the movements from previous games sometimes, but overall I think how the new gameplay really works really well essentially. When it comes to Atreus, you also control him, but sometimes he also controls himself. You can give him commands essentially, and he essentially shoots his bow or arrow or whatever you call it, in order to help you. He also sometimes, if you build up your skill tree, yes, this game has a skill tree, he can essentially help you with finding health, essentially how he attacks, how he essentially handle the enemies essentially. When we talk about the skill tree, it is essentially what skills you can use in your axe, weapon, and how powerful they will be, and etc. So overall, I feel to say the gameplay are really fun, and it is a great change in my opinion to a series that have been the same for most of its lifetime essentially. music in this game are really well. It works perfectly when it comes to the storyline and the heavy hitting scenes, and it just gives you the atmosphere that you really want from this game essentially. When it comes to the effects and environments, the environments are beautiful. I really like it. I really love the Northern mythology. Essentially, it is really fascinating in my opinion. And seeing this in the game, it just looks phenomenal, amazing. I just love it. The effects, I will listen to talk about the graphics and everything, looks phenomenal. Everything looks really detailed, realistic, and this is on the original PlayStation 4 essentially that I play this on. On Pro it may look a little bit better, I don't know. I haven't tested it out, I haven't looked it up essentially, so yeah. So, but on the original it looks amazing, and when it comes to environments, they are amazing. I really love it, so yeah. The enemies are fun, interesting. They essentially are, you can call them, I would call them zombies essentially. For the most part it is zombie-like creatures that we fight, but it also has werewolves and some weird types of dogs, some elven type characters, and they just are fun, and it changes enough in order to make you interested in fighting them. And yeah, I just like the enemies. And when it comes to the bosses, yes, they are bosses. They are really well put together, and I really like all of them because they have their distinct characteristics that make them interesting and make them equally as hard as the previous one, essentially, in my opinion. So overall, I think it is really great enemies, essentially. God of War are an amazing experience, essentially. I like the storyline, I like the characters, I like the gameplay, I like the effects environments, I like the music, and I like the enemies, so it is a perfect package in my opinion. It gets a little bit of a drawback in my opinion when it comes to sometimes it is a little bit stale, or it has some moments that is a little bit dragging a little bit in my opinion, but overall I think this is an amazing game. I really recommend it, and it's just a phenomenal experience in my opinion. The final verdict for God of War are going to be a 9.5 out of 10. That's all for today folks, hope you next time.